Hey everybody, this is Susan Martin from Bauer Center for the Arts, and you're listening to Behind the Bauer. This show offers inspiring conversations, a fresh look at arts in our community, and provides spotlights on artists, performers, collaborative partners, educators, and organizations. We want to celebrate the universal expression of human experiences through arts, culture, and our community. Today, we're talking with Bedford Get Together, a community organization that creates opportunities for all current and future community members to enhance their awareness, open-mindedness, and respect. They do this through area events and projects, including our Bedford Stories and the Community Mural Project. Today, we're going to discuss everything there is to know about the Mural Project, and joining me today are Ivan Green with Bedford Get Together and the muralists Josh and Libby Nolan Schaefer with Tandem Arts Collective of Roanoke. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Let's kind of get started with you, Ivan. Share a little bit about Bedford Get Together, your involvement with the organization, and then we'll talk more about the Mural Project.
Bedford Get Together has been a nonprofit group. I joined the group approximately 2017, and we have had a series of events and projects that we've worked on. But our basic idea of interacting with the community is to build community relationships. We're now talking about our tagline of creating community connections.
Mm-hmm.
We have been looking at a number of projects for Bedford, but it was interesting that as time goes on, things evolve. So we've had some new members, and we keep looking for new members to join our board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so a little bit about the projects and or community activities that you all have been doing. Let's briefly talk about Our Bedford Stories, because I think that's very interesting, what you all are collecting and what you're doing with those.
It started back in 2017, actually, with a community event that we held at the Edmond Street Park. We started interviewing some attendees there who had some historical perspective of Bedford and who were willing to talk about their personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to tape those and then transcribe to make Our Bedford Story. Since that time, we've evolved to reaching out to other groups, and they've actually shown a real interest in telling their stories from their groups.
Mm-hmm.
We've had an approach that goes into a group. We set it up where we allow them to tell their stories, and then we are featuring their stories now,
Mm-hmm.
publishing a story once a month in our local newspaper, and also making them a part of a library.
Right. And can individuals find more information or see some of these stories on the website?
On our website, we talk about that. We describe our procedure and what we're looking to do.
Uh-huh.
So we are getting some calls and inquiries about that from time to time.
And tell our guests what the website address is.
The website is bedfordgettogether.com.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know that you all are also very involved with other, participating in other organizations' events, having booths at festivals and things like that. Are there opportunities for other community members beyond being on the board to get involved with those activities?
At one time, we actually had a group
Mm-hmm.
that our board emanated out of. When we were really doing the larger projects for the community, I would say that we probably had a group of about 20 people meeting.
Right.
And that evolved to the point where we obviously had to deal with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That slowed down a lot of activity, but the board continued to meet.
Right.
And we haven't taken on a large community group event yet,
Mm-hmm.
or since that time. But we've been thinking about how do you do that?
Right.
And what's important now to the community. And so we're trying to evolve with what the community needs or wants. And we do try to communicate a lot with the community,
Right.
get exchanges of ideas. We recently worked with a very nice individual from the Chicago area, Andrea Palamonia, was working with us on the Our Bedford Story
Mm-hmm.
project. And she picked up on it and said that, oh, this is a wonderful process that you have. And she actually incorporated, she was working on her PhD
Mm-hmm.
and actually incorporated the process into her PhD work.
That's nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
And she's given us a lot of feedback, plus some very good ideas about going forward with the project.
Right. That's great recognition for the organization itself. And just kind of segueing into recognition, I know you all are also, I believe, still in the process of accepting nominations for some annual recognitions that the organization
Yes, our
does.
Community Service Awards closed
Okay.
on the 15th
Gotcha.
yesterday.
Yesterday.
But we had been open for several months. And we, this year, I believe, received our largest submission, total of 14.
Wow.
So we will be giving awards out in 4 categories. Um, and that process, of course, is one that we would be working on going forward right now.
Right.
Of course, the Mural of Appreciation Project is kind of our leader right now.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about how this came about, how the mural project, the idea came about, and then we'll get into more details about the mural itself.
This project started with a conversation. Our board member, Bill Mosley, had a conversation with a retired military gentleman, Dan Villarreal,
Mm-hmm.
served in the Marines. Dan's very passionate about the history of the military service, especially the Normandy invasion and World War II. And Dan approached Bill and said, I need help. I've got an idea that I would like to see a mural in Bedford
Mm-hmm.
concerning the military. Dan had actually gone forward with allowing an artist to help him come up with an image.
Mm-hmm.
And he did show us the image. It was a combat sort of image with a soldier carrying a weapon, carrying a fellow injured soldier on his back. And we looked at that and Dan said, this is what I would like to display. And we gave that careful thought. Bill brought it to our board. We accepted and voted to go forward with a project
Right.
for a mural.
Mm-hmm.
I must say, up until that time, we had not thought about it.
Right. Right.
But at any rate, we also discussed what we liked and what we would like to see a mural represent for the community of Bedford. Bedford has a very historical background in the military, especially with the D-Day
Right.
subject matter and, of course, the D-Day Memorial. But we also know that there are others who have served from this area in all wars. And we kind of looked at it from the 20th century and 21st century wars. How do we get an expression of appreciation for those people? Everyone kind of is aware of the D-Day Memorial and that activity. But how do we also tell our other families, military people, that we appreciate them?
Right.
This is what the concept was for our mural.
Right. And I believe I remember there was also some community meetings or involvement. So it wasn't that just the board made these decisions alone. They got feedback from all of the community as to what they would, like to see and how that recognition
we had a
could be shown.
Community meeting, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
where we wanted direct feedback from the attendees. What would you like to see a mural of this type be? And we got all kinds of responses back.
Right.
But in general, we got support for going forward with the project. Internally, we, of course, discussed, and we knew that if we were to take this on, it would be the first mural for the town of Bedford. So there were a lot of new ground that we needed to cover.
Right.
We had to sort of pioneer the structure of putting this together. We knew that and we're very fortunate to have in our group on our board, Julie Stanley, who has legal background. Julie's been a very valuable resource to build contracts and guidelines and do research. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
We had to develop a lot of paperwork
Right.
to cover contracting. And of course, we put out a call to artists.
Yes.
That went out on April 15th, prior to April 15th, and the submissions were required to be in between April 15th and June 1st. We had guidelines set forth, and we did give pretty detailed information about what we were looking for in our mural image.
Mm-hmm.
However, it was be the artists that would bring a image to us
Right.
of their own creation.
Right. Right. And that kind of brings us to where we are today. I'm very excited to introduce our muralists or the muralists for the project. And I say ours because I was fortunate enough to serve on the selection committee when reviewing those entries, which I was very proud and excited to do so. And so Josh and Libby are joining us today. And let's start by having you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Josh.
I'm Libby.
We go by Tandem Arts or Tandem Arts Collective. Started painting in 2021, and then we weren't together at that time. I was painting, like, it was the first mural I'd ever done, and then right after that, we had started dating, and then you kind of like started helping out on the murals.
Helping. What were you, schlepping the paint and the brushes, or
Showing up with the cooler.
And eventually you just started painting too, and then it developed more seriously into a business once we got more calls, got more jobs after that, and now we do it full time. It's our only job. We do other part-time stuff, but it's our main thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2021. Yeah.
Wonderful. How about how many murals have you all completed since then?
I would say around 30.
Wow.
What do you think?
Yeah, I would say at least 30.
Something like that.
Yeah. And have they varied in the
Oh, yeah.
subjects
Oh, yeah.
and location, things like that? Tell us a little
yeah.
bit about some of the
Yeah, I mean,
ones you've enjoyed the most or the more fun ones.
well, do you want to, what is your favorite?
Ooh, so a couple years ago, we did a project out in Saltville, Virginia, nearish Hungry Mother.
Uh-huh.
And it was very, very cute. It was on this little pizza place, but it was fun because it was such a rural, small community. They didn't have anything like that. They had one restaurant and one gas station.
Wow.
Well, there's about to be 2 restaurants.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's a pizza place, yeah.
Well, I guess now the mural can attract more guests to come into that small community.
Well, unfortunately, the pizza place has since closed.
Oh, no.
But the process.
But the mural still stands.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would assume so. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we paint all kinds of different stuff because our whole thing is mainly we want to be a tool for the community or business or whatever to portray whatever they're trying to say, or, kind of help them blend in with their community or like be a part of the community in some way. And then obviously it's going to look like a painting made by us, but I mean, we've done everything from, I don't know, this mural now depicting military history and reunification, all the way to just painting a chihuahua with a party hat on the side. Wine and beer place.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what interested you when you saw this call for artists. What interested you in responding?
So my family was military. My dad retired from the Navy in 2011, and that's how we ended up in Roanoke. I was 16, almost 17 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so until moving to Roanoke, I had only been, for the most part, around military personnel, military children. And so I'd seen a lot of art depicting like military history and things like that. And so I felt like I had a unique perspective on a reunification mural, which I don't think is talked about enough. Just familial reunification, communication, but also how that has changed so much,
Right.
even in the last 50 years.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, like if it was just me painting, I don't know if I even would have gone out for the call because like I don't have any sort of background in military. I don't know very much about it. I seem like the wrong person to be doing that kind of mural. But since Libby has such a background and a unique idea on the concept, that's why we went out for it ultimately. I
Right.
think.
Tell our listeners a little bit about your process when you're creating a design for the call to then the actual final approval and starting the process of the mural.
Well, this call, y'all did a good job on your, I don't know what it's called, like.
Just the call itself was really,
Yes.
really well done.
Yeah, because we want as much information as possible. And you
Right.
told us everything you were looking for. You were very blunt about what needed to be in the mural. And so that was nice, which gave us some confidence that it would be a well done call, which it has been through every
Yeah.
step. But basically, we just designed something. It's hard because you want to design something quickly, but also be thoughtful just in case you do get picked. But in case you don't get picked, you don't want to put too much time into it. And so there's a little sweet spot in there. This one we did end up spending a decent amount of time on. So I'm glad that it
Yeah.
worked out.
Right,
But,
right.
basically, we just do a design, write up a proposal that usually takes, I don't know, anywhere from like 2 to 5 days to do all that. And then you just send it in and hope for the best.
Right.
But with this one, y'all got back to us. And then we came in and talked to you a few times. And all the contracts, like you were talking about. There's a lot of contracts and paperwork involved in doing murals, especially with nonprofits or especially if you're working with city entities. There's a lot of paperwork. But
I can imagine.
yeah. But yeah. And then after that, we just start painting, which that's a whole other process entirely.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that process. I know that it's been, there's been a lot of talk, chatter, social media. This community loves to
Well,
see new things and make comments. And I know you all have a really unique, I was there on the day you started, and I felt like that you have a really unique process. Tell us a little bit about that.
do you want to talk about the doodle method?
Yeah. So, like any wall, you will start with priming it, which we didn't have to do this time, which was really nice. So we just got up and did the doodle grid, which is just a very organic, just characters. So like the alphabet, numbers. Sometimes people will do like stars or smiley faces, hearts.
Yeah, since we were doing everything by pole because it's so high up in the air, we wanted to do it fast. So we were just doing lines and numbers and dots, basically, just
Right.
to give you a reference. It's
Right.
like if like the traditional is to do a grid, like boxes, but that you have to worry about ratio and perspective and all that stuff. With the doodle grid, you literally just paint doodles all over it and then reference your image on top of it. But sometimes we accidentally spell things out that we don't need to.
That you weren't expecting. Oh,
Yeah.
did I put that up there? I know there was a lot of discussion about what are they spelling? What does that say? Is that what it's going to look like?
Yeah. We get, that's the number one question we get is what we're doing. I mean, we've painted places where people think we're actually tagging the building.
Yes.
I bet. I bet. So tell us a little bit about as much information as you can give without giving it away, but specifically about your design. What was your thought behind it? And I know that just to let our guests know a little bit about the subject of the mural, it kind of, while it was inspired by the Normandy Beach image, the Bedford Get Together group and the community wanted to recognize the contributions of all military branches, but also African Americans, women, those that have served our country in different ways over the years and are still serving. So that's a lot to include into one mural. How did you come about with your design? And what do you feel like that it's representing?
Yeah, I mean, Libby's idea of reunification is kind of the core of it. So that's like whenever. Well, do you want to explain what that means exactly?
Yeah, reunification, just families coming home or the communication while they are separated.
Yeah, which I think is wonderful. And I'm very excited about the fact as being a part of the selection. We've talked about having an artist statement or some information at the mural so that it has a better understanding of the mural itself, which I think is extremely important. But I really think that reunification is wonderful. And based on the fact that I have seen the image, I think it's going to be wonderful for the community to see as well.
Yeah, we're using that idea as the framework, and then everything around it. We're using like postcards, and we have a written message on it, and then there's Morse code in with it. But then all of that is made up by women and people of color, to kind of put that core message in there as well, because we want to make sure that that's there as well. But yeah, it's an interesting way to go about it with the postcards. That's not something I had thought about. And apparently there's been people like sending in pictures of postcards that they have from like World War II or, Vietnam or whatever.
Right. And it's a great location in that it's in our Centertown Park, right in the heart of downtown Bedford, and right across the street from the Tribute Center, which you can go in and probably find lots of memorabilia, postcards, ways that individuals were communicating back during World War II. So that it's just a great location for the mural and a great place for folks to come together, I think.
Yeah, we've been in there, and we went to the National D-Day monument or memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Libby's dad is a history buff. He gave us a tour yesterday.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It was so hot. They're like, we're not giving tours. Like, that is not a problem.
Yeah. Speaking of the heat, we were talking before the podcast. How are you all surviving in this heat? We were talking about there's not a lot of shade there at the Centertown Park. Just personally, what do you all do to keep yourselves cool and to be able to continue with the project?
Lots and lots and lots of sunscreen.
Right.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Gotta pre-hydrate.
Yeah.
Taking breaks.
Yeah, we take a break usually. Now that we're down here, we're staying for the next few days, but we usually take a break around 1 or 2 until about 5-ish, just because that's when it's like 100 degrees outside.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're just, I don't know, taking our time. There's no reason to be out there for 10 hours a day getting heat stroke.
Exactly. So if any of our listeners want to stop by, they're welcome to come and
we've had some good conversations out there.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Anything that we want to mention that I may not have mentioned as we're wrapping up? Ivan, anything related to Bedford Get Together?
We are planning. There's going to be a memorial plaque installed at the site. We are planning to have a dedication ceremony that will be coming up shortly after Josh and Libby have completed the mural. And we're going to be inviting the community to that. Bedford has agreed to do a minimized street closure, a bridge at Main, that will allow people to come, bring lawn chairs to sit in for. Wonderful. It's going to be a late evening.
Right. I have the official ceremony will be on Sunday, August the 18th.
Yes.
Beginning at 5:00.
Yes, we chose that time for minimum traffic and a late hour, of course, to make it a little bit more comfortable.
Wonderful. So all of our listeners can be on the lookout for that. There will definitely be more information posted.
Yes, it will be posted in the local news.
Okay.
Probably twice before the event.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to that, and we look forward to the completed mural. Yeah. And hopefully this is just the start from the Bauer Center for the Arts perspective. We have lots of ideas we'd love to see on our end of Bridge Street and around our facility and our center. So hopefully there will be some more collaborative opportunities, and we can see an extension of more murals in the town of Bedford.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be wonderful. So as we're closing up, I'm really appreciative of our guests here today. Just some reminders for Bauer Center for the Arts. We do have one final summer art camp for kids. It starts on Monday, July 22nd, ages 6 to 15, and the theme is the art of science. So scholarships are still available. If anybody wants to sign their children up for this final week-long camp, we would love to have them. We are also already registering for late summer and early fall art classes for both adults and youth. You can find those on our website at bowercenter.org. And we have 2 great concerts coming up in August, including our popular local trio Nightcap. They play an eclectic mix of American folk music on Saturday, August 10th. And then we have the return of an Americana folk rock artist, Dana Cooper, who's going to be joining us on a Friday evening concert on August 30th. And you can get advance tickets for both the concerts on our website as well. Lastly, I would like to mention that today we are saying goodbye to the stained glass window that's located in our main gallery and performance space at Bauer Center for the Arts. Many of our guests may not realize that while Bauer Center does own the building, it was formerly obviously a church, and the previous church owners retained ownership of the stained glass window. And while we've been proud to have it in our space for about the last 18 years of our ownership, they are going to be moving it and putting it in a new location. So they're in the process right now, which is a really unique and interesting process. I've been watching it all morning in removing the stained glass window, and we'll be doing something unique to fill in that space at this point in time. So please feel free to stop by and check that out. It's kind of a unique process. But thank you guys again for joining us. And this has been Behind the Bower.